Buenos nachos, amigos. Welcome to another fine episode of the Fanny Pack Wrestling Podcast here with you today. I am PD Rave, your man with no plan. Here with me, as always, is none other than David Jeffrey Majors, a.k.a. DJM. How you do, DJM?
Tag, you're it, everybody. Hello, PD Rave. We're doing the Fanny Pack Wrestling Podcast live Gaiden style, except this is an actual canon episode this week, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. And we're talking about something exciting, something, I guess, a little taste of our future plans with the awesome series that you're going to provide us in the not too distant future. We're going to visit a decidedly, certifiably awesome promotion by the name of Dragon Gate with their event Final Gate 2013.
Indeed, we are PD Rave. Now, in the past, on previous episodes of Fanny Pack, we have talked about Dragon Gate USA, the stable of the Sapolsky-verse. I have said that on previous episodes, we needed to explore the home promotion, Dragon Gate Prime, as I like to call it. And so today, here we are. We are talking about the Final Gate pay-per-view event from Dragon Gate, their last event of 2013.
Mm-hmm. And of course, with us, we have a couple of guests, a couple of really cool people. First of all, we have our returning champion, one of our favorite people to have on the show, our Martin Short, if you will, because he's always there in a pinch. None other than Jerry Vin, a.k.a. JVeezy. How you doing, JVeezy?
I'm doing well, Petey. Glad to be on again.
Mm-hmm. And who else do we have, DJM?
Well, we have the young lady by way of the Great White North of Wisconsin, now by way of Austin, Texas, the one, the only Miss Ash Snowschu. What is going on, Shu-chan?
I just want to correct PD, saying I'm not cool. I'm really hot. I'm like sweating. Well, it's not even 80 yet, and I'm breaking a sweat. Mm-hmm. It kind of sucks.
Well, there's Texas for you.
Poor thing.
I am a poor thing. I came from -10 and went to 70. Shut up.
You have to adjust.
You realize I'm still there, don't you? You realize I'm still there.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, we're talking about Dragon Gate. We're talking about Japanese wrestling, Puroresu, if you will. An exciting event, a big, huge, long event. Let's talk about you guys. Let's talk about your expectations. I'll start with Snoosh because I know JVeezy had quite a bit to say, but I'll let him go after. Snoosh, what expectations did you have going into this event?
I knew it was Japanese, and because it's Japanese, it has its Japanese ways. Mm-hmm. Mostly the theatrics. Oh, the theatrics. Seriously, first match. What the fuck? There's a guy who wears like a sports bra thing.
Just to give the listeners a little bit of a primer, Dragon Gate is a wrestling organization that is a little bit different from the standard Puroresu organizations, New Japan, All Japan, Noah, in that they are very, very, very influenced by Mexican Lucha Libre. Mm-hmm. The original Dragon Gate promotion, Toryumon, was founded by a personal favorite of mine, Ultimo Dragon, who of course made his name originally from Japan through Mexico. And he created what some people might call Lucharesu, which is the Lucha Libre influenced Japanese style that started with Toryumon and eventually evolved into Dragon Gate, what we now see today. Mm-hmm. JVeezy, just to go off on that, with whatever you might have known about Dragon Gate, what were you expecting coming into this show?
Well, I had definitely heard of Dragon Gate before and Dragon Gate USA, so I thought it was, originally I thought it was really cool that, you've got, on both sides of the Pacific, you've got, the same sort of promotion, but just kind of two different arms of it. And, but that's pretty much all I heard. This was really my first experience digging into Japanese wrestling in general. And so, I had certainly heard in other places that, the that it was a bit different, a bit more athletic, almost like the lucha libre style. So I certainly wasn't surprised in that aspect. The thing that I really wanted to say before, and it's kind of a continuation of something I had said on the last episode I was here, episode 25, Fat Dudes in Singlets. Go back and watch that, or go back and listen. The whole thing about, wrestlers having really, really generic gimmicks. And, those of you on the video stream can see that I am Asian, so I'm going to exercise my right to say this. But, I think certain people might be of the mindset that if you look at a bunch of Asian people in a room together, they might all seem like they look very, very similar to each other. And in this case, because Dragon Gate did such a good job of making sure that each of their characters, has, a different sort of flair here and there, and making sure that they're not generic, it makes it actually somewhat easier to tell everybody apart. And I kind of thought going into it that, it would be a little bit confusing. I don't know who these people are. This is my first time watching, but during the match, I didn't have a lot of trouble. During the matches, I didn't have a lot of trouble following what was going on or who was what. And, I was very, very happy with that.
Yeah.
I just want to take your point, JV, just to expound a little bit more. This goes back to the lucha influence with Dragon Gate, because in Lucha Libre, places like CMLL, AAA, all of the wrestlers, well, a lot of them, a majority of them, are masked luchadors.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in the States, being a masked luchador is pretty much a gimmick by itself. Whereas opposed to Mexico or other places, if you are wearing a mask, that mask is who you are as an individual.
Yeah.
And in Japan, they do, specifically Dragon Gate, they do a really good job of taking that lucha influence and melding it with Japan's uniqueness.
Yes.
And it works out really well. I totally agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
I actually didn't have a hard time following, like who was who. The only time I had an issue was, a few matches in. It was, 3-on-3-on-3. And I got confused about whose was on who team. Because I got a little confused because every team had sort of a color coordination except one team. They're kind of multicolored.
They have a name coordination. The one team had the name coordination. That's a little harder to.
Well, one of them had
out.
I heart something on their butts, which was kind of cute.
I will tell you, Ash, that in the case of Dragon Gate, to get teams mixed up it's pretty much par for the course, because another unique thing about Dragon Gate, and Dragon Gate USA has extended this, and there are factions, and there are teams. This is something that was started best with All Japan Pro Wrestling in the 90s, where there'd be factions and teams throughout the promotion. Dragon Gate really takes that to an extreme, where there are really hard set teams of 3 or 4, sometimes more, and they intersperse with one another. Also, as is the case with most pro wrestling, those teams change over time. Heel turns, face turns, factions breaking up, factions getting together, all this kinds of stuff. And in the case of Dragon Gate, you pretty much have to be really keeping up with it best you can to follow the teams, or you can just do what I do and like specific individual wrestlers and follow them individually.
Yeah, and of course we start the show off with showing a matchup between 2 of those teams, 6-man tag with the Millennials of Rocky Lobo, UT, and Yosuke Santa Maria, taking on Jimmy's, Jimmy Kagetora and Jimmy Kanda, with their guest appearance of Ryoto Shimizu. An opening 6-man tag.
Those are the guys that I heart something?
Possibly. It was the Jimmies were the those guys possibly, and of course
Were they
the
wearing
Millennials. Millennials were the team with the one guy who kept adjusting himself.
Yeah, dude, that guy really needs to work on that sports bra.
Yeah.
I can tell you that since this show, his ring gear has changed. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Okay. Because
I was concerned. You're pulling it down the whole time. I'm like, come on, you can't be doing that.
Yes. It was something that was noticed and has been updated.
Yes, he kept having to
Good for
adjust
him.
the gals. But yeah, I mean, what can you say about this opening contest, DJM? To kind of preface it.
Well, I think that in the case of the Millennials, they have a really cool gimmick. If you saw in the opening promos and the video sequences of this pay-per-view, their gimmick is that they are a team or a faction, all of wrestlers that were born after the year 1990. And they say that if you were born...
And they ruined the economy. Well, sorry.
If you were born before the year 1990, you are their enemy.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Those guys were born after 1990. They do not look that
Young, they're younguns. They're young cubs, young lions, if you will.
I think the muscles make them look older.
Wrong company, PD.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting withdrawals. I'm getting excited. I'm getting the itchy feeling now that we're gearing up. But yeah.
No, we're talking New Japan here. So
no, we're talking Dragon Gate. So I'll go with JVeezy. I'll go with JVeezy. What did you think of the opening contest?
Well, I think it was a very, very exciting contest to kick off the show, and you guys have brought me on a lot of shows, and by far, this was the most by far this was the most athletically gifted contest across the board. All these guys are flying around the ring really, really well, and and on top of that, the teamwork between all the teams. There are a lot of moves where two of the guys would hold their opponent, and then the third guy would attack, with a high flying move, or just a lot of team attacks. It made
a lot of good
definitely
teamwork and coordination among the teams. Yeah.
I really think that this match as an opener is a really good primer into what the Dragon Gate style is really all about. It gave me a little bit of a reminder of those early matches between Dragon Gate and Ring of Honor from the mid-2000s, the Dragon Gate Challenge shows, which eventually would give birth to Dragon Gate USA. I think these kinds of matches, the trios tag team matches, are a great way to introduce people to Dragon Gate USA. This one was not completely off the charts crazy, but it was a very good opening match.
Mm-hmm. So, Ash, what did you think of the opening contest? Did it introduce you well?
Yeah, I think it got me into what I was going to look forward to. Because it was like, oh, it's going to be one of those. Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping it wasn't going to be super serious, because super serious gets kind of boring after a while. Like, whatever. So yeah, it was a lot of great moves. Like, I'm not big on wrestling, as I think I previously stated in whatever episode I was in last time. Insert number here.
Yeah.
But I still watch, and like all the moves were actually really impressive.
Yeah.
Like, there were some surprise ones.
Yeah, there's some really fun.
I also had a weird moment where I'm like, I really want to watch Hentai Kamen. or not watch, I want to read it. Hentai Kamen is a superhero who wears underwear over his head. It's really funny.
I'll let David I'll take David's word for it.
Suffice to say, when we do an episode on DDT, Ash is going to be on.
Yes. when we revisit DDT next
everything
time.
you just said, Ash, everything you just said, DDT has plenty of it.
Oh, yeah. We will be back to DDT, because that is a fantastic promotion. And Ash will be on.
Yeah, like, the whole match was actually really entertaining. Like, I was kind of trying to do other stuff, and I'm like, I watched it. It was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all the little gimmicks here and there that I tried to understand.
Yeah.
That I couldn't because
You got exposed to Yosuke Santa Maria, which is a unique individual onto himself,
Yes.
to say the least. But yeah, that gave way to another match involving the number 3, the 3-way dance. Some interesting individuals. We had Baten Tamagawa, Don Fuji, and none other than the inimitable Stalker Ichikawa. DJM, tell us about Stalker Ichikawa.
Oh, this match.
Do I have to? I'd much rather talk about Don Fuji.
All right, I'll talk about Don Fuji a little bit.
Don Fuji is awesome. He is sort of making his way into the role of being the grumpy old veteran of Dragon Gate. He throws a pretty great German suplex, and right now, from what I can tell, his gimmick is being unceremoniously being put in comedy matches and just beating up whoever ends up in the match with him.
Yeah.
He's been doing that for the last year or so, off and on now, and usually Stalker Ichikawa is involved.
Yes.
And this is pretty much what you would expect.
Yeah.
Stalker Ichikawa was the weird guy, right?
He was the bug guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
What did you think of this little contest? I mean, it wasn't much of a match, but it was kind of an interesting match, huh?
I was like, wow, that ended really quick.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the...
That's why I enjoy Don Fuji. He was just like, you know what? Fuck this noise.
I enjoyed all the fanfare at the beginning, like the American guy.
Yes.
Whatever the fuck his name.
Baten Tamagawa, yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is great.
There's quite a bit of offense aimed at his butthole. Yeah.
I think they introed him with Flight of the Bumblebee, or is that the other guy?
I think that was Stalker Ichikawa, I'm going to assume.
Okay. I don't know what they introed him with.
But yeah.
The sound kind of cut out for him.
Yeah. The sound cut out.
That is one thing I forgot to mention. A lot of times with Japanese promotions, Japan is a little weird on its music and copyright and all that. So sometimes music does get out. This was over a pay-per-view and it did have a live stream, so yeah, sometimes music would get cut out. Yes.
Yeah.
It only happened like once. Once or twice. So
because most of the other stuff is stuff that they have made in-house. So pretty much all the other stuff is stuff they made in-house or stuff they have rights to. So I think it was just that one theme that played great live, I imagine, and it was an enjoyable theme specific to that character, but they don't quite have the rights to, you know. So they probably get in trouble if they played it. JVeezy, what do you think of those little fun contests?
I honestly don't have a lot to say because I just realized I don't have any notes for this. And maybe that speaks to how short the match was. I think one thing that I actually noticed throughout all these matches is it seems like some guys in the previous matches are kind of just hanging out around ringside.
That's part of the Dragon Gate faction things. Dragon Gate is super, super, super loose on rules and interference and all of that.
Yeah.
It's pretty much non-existent. So yeah.
And it was just kind of a short match. Of course, we had people on ringside, and of course, Don Fuji doing his Don Fuji thing, and Stalker Ichikawa doing his Stalker Ichikawa thing.
It's all right. We can move on to the next one, Petey.
And of course, we move on to the next another 6-man tag match. Another pair of seminal factions. We are Team Veteran taking on Mad Blankey.
Mad Blankey! Yes!
Mad Blankey, Cyber Kong, Kazai, and Monday Ryu. We are Team Veteran, made up of Gamma, K-Ness, and Super Shisa. 6-man tag contest. A lot of really cool, crazy guys taking each other on. What can we say about these groups and maybe this match to preface?
I will say that this was probably the first match of the show that had, aside from the Jimmies, a couple of talents that I really, really enjoy. One of them being Cyber Kong. Cyber Kong is an absolute beast. He's amazing. And I was really looking forward to this.
Yes.
It was a little.
Which one was
short,
that one?
But overall, I liked it.
Which one was that one?
Cyber Kong is the big dude with the paint over his abs.
Yes.
Paint over. Okay.
Yes. The dude with had the paint on his abs and whatnot. Ash, besides not knowing that particular guy's identity, what impression did that match leave upon you?
I thought it was kind of funny. It was like gang versus gang.
Yeah.
It was like biker gang versus just walk around gang. Like I can't remember all the Japanese gang styles.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. I have notes.
Notes.
Oh, there's a guy who's like, yes, I have notes. I did find it very amusing that they're called Mad Blankey.
Yes, Mad Blankey is
Mostly
fun.
because it was in English and I could read.
Dragon Gate is wonderful. Has a history of wonderfully hilarious English faction names.
Yes.
My personal favorite being Blood Generation.
Yes.
And Mad Blankey.
Mad Blankey.
More like wet blanket. Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so the guy you're talking about is who I call the tank.
Yeah.
That's definitely CyberCon.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, who's gonna defeat the tank?
Who shall defeat the tank?
Like it took like 3 of them to take him down, I think.
It'll take all your Cyber Kais or whatever thing reference, Naruto reference that I don't know.
There was the guy who wore the white mask and the white pants. Whose name I obviously did not know. I actually thought he was like, man, that guy's really flexible. I thought he was kind of like a gymnast at some point in his life because he had some really interesting moves.
Yeah.
Sounds like you might be talking about Super Shisa.
Super Shisa. Possibly. Yeah, there's some flexible, athletic dudes on both sides of the ring in this match.
Well, out of all
here's
of them,
something about Dragon Gate, P, that I always enjoy telling people. A lot of the guys in Dragon Gate have been doing this for a while now. Dragon Gate has been around since 1997.
Yeah.
Dragon Gate has been around for a long time now, and a lot of these guys have been working this style for coming up on 15 years or more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a guy like Super Shisa, Dragon Kid, who we'll see later. Yeah, these guys are just ridiculously athletic.
Yeah. So, as you can tell, they are a team veteran. They are definitely the guys that have been around forever.
Except for Gamma. Gamma is... he has his good and bad days.
Yeah. Jerry, what did you think of this contest?
I mostly from what I can remember, this is another one of those matches where definitely a lot of faction involvement again with Mad Blankey, and I think this is the first one where I kind of noticed that the refs here are completely ineffective, and like there's people
like they're another sideshow.
Yeah, there's people trying to run into the ring from the outside that are being held by people from the other faction. There's, I think at one point, maybe it was, at
one point there's a like train of moves, just random people. They just, at some point, they just like have, just the rest of the people in the faction just do a train of moves on them in front of the referee's eyes, and it just keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah, so in a way you kind of have to, just let that go. And,
yeah.
And then if you do, then, everything is all better.
Yeah, it's just some fantastic action. A little loose appreciation of the rules, but if you're a stickler of the rules, you're taking this too seriously. I'm sorry.
And Dragon Gate will probably make your head explode if it hasn't already.
Yeah.
Good thing I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next match, we're going to bring it down a little and keep things a bit more traditional. This was a Open the Brave Gate Championship match, which is I suppose you could call the Intercontinental / Junior Heavyweight title of Dragon Gate, in which a personal favorite of mine, Genki Horiguchi of the Jimmies, also known as H.A. Jimmy, took on one of the...
That was an amusing name.
Yes.
The younger talents of Dragon Gate, Ciba. And I'll talk about him a little bit more in depth in a second. Just because I feel like I should explain Genki Horiguchi, because
Yes.
he is. There may be no one else in Dragon Gate with as much character depth as Genki Horiguchi, and I love him. There is a chant for him.
Yes.
Hage, which is, if memory serves me correctly, the Japanese word for bald.
Yes.
And it's a kind of making fun of, kind of self-deprecating way that Genki Horiguchi makes fun of his receding hairline, which, of course, I can relate to. Also, he joined the Jimmies.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he's taken that chant and turned his name into H-A-G-Me.
Yes.
And now he's part of the Jimmies.
Yes.
Because Jimmy.
Because why not? And of course you have Ciba on the other. Of course you have Ciba on the other end.
Ciba is, I would say, probably the future up-and-comer right now of Dragon Gate in this match, and for a little while he has been a replicant of Cima, who, for a lot of wrestling fans, would be the face of Dragon Gate. He has been the liaison to Dragon Gate USA. He's usually the first talent from Dragon Gate that people think of. He's the one that gets booked on the shows for bigger promotions. I don't want to say larger, but the Tokyo-based promotions, as Dragon Gate is based out of Kobe. He's kind of the, I guess you could say he's for the longest time has been kind of the ace of Dragon Gate, but in recent years he's been picking up injuries, and now a young guy has come along, and he has been dubbed Ciba. So he's one to keep an eye on.
Yes. I'll go with Jerry. What did you think of this contest?
This was another excellent match, and a bit of a change since this is just a singles match this time. But even then, both these guys kind of flew around the ring, and I think having just those two in the ring allowed them both to get a little bit more violent with the attacks. There was a, I think it ended with was it 3 stomps off the top turnbuckle, and
something along those lines, I believe.
Yeah, and I mean, it definitely looked. It definitely gave the impression that these guys definitely cared about this title, this Open the Brave Gate title, and and so they got into it. I got into it. It was definitely fun to watch. Yeah,
there's definitely some mad energy, especially from Genki Horiguchi. He has this oddball energy, and Shiba's a young whippersnapper with some all balled up energy, and Dragon Gate really does a good job of having a lot of prestige in their titles. Even their main title to open the Dream Gate, that has its pomp and circumstance and prestige. Considering all of the titles that they have, tag team titles and trios titles, a primary, a secondary, a comedy title, there's still a sense of prestige even with each title. At least from what I gather. I imagine, I don't know how you feel, DJ, but I get that feeling that each title has its own prestige.
And I think we can move into the next match, which was another title match, the Open the Triangle Gate Championship match, microphone, which is the Trios Championship match. This was between 3 teams, all competing for the Trios title, appropriately enough. Another segment of We Are Team Veteran, the previously mentioned Cima, Dragon Kid, and Masaki Mochizuki, who is awesome as well. Dragon Kid, too. I really like this team in We Are Team Veteran. Taking on the Millennials, Eita, Flamita, and T-Hawk, taking on more of the Jimmies.
More Jimmies.
Jimmy Susumu, the former Susumu Yokosuka, QQ Naoki Tanizaki, And
Tayonaka Dolphin.
Dolphin. And another favorite of mine, Ryo Saito, aka Ryo Jimmy Saito. Ash, suffice to say, this match, elimination style, trios match, was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
It was like this was the match that got me confused about who was who on whose side.
I think that this is Dragon Gate at its absolute craziest.
I actually was minorly disappointed. I was thinking more chaos. There wasn't as much. It was a little bit more organized or tame, I could say.
I will tell you, this is probably because of Team Veteran, specifically Mochizuki and Cima. Mochizuki isn't the most high-flying lucha type guy. He's kind of more of a ground-based
traditionalist.
No, he's more of a kicker and striker type of guy. And Cima, he's dealt with some neck injuries in recent times, so he's not quite what he used to be. And he said, like his most recent run as Open the Brave Gate champion, that it will more than likely be his last run as champion. Cima is getting close to the age of 40, so he might be nearing the end of his career. So if this had some other guys, it probably would have been a lot crazier. But I think overall it was still pretty enjoyable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Okay, I remember. I'm looking at my notes. This one was one of the...
I know that during the intermission of this show, or it might have been another one that I watched, there was a little video piece on Cima specifically. Petey, did you see this?
I don't believe if I did, I don't remember seeing it.
Okay.
I watched some of it.
Okay, you did. All right. So
I couldn't understand a lot of it. I think it was just him going to the doctor recovering for his neck injury.
That's kind of been his storyline, because in the early part of 2013, he was the Open the Dream Gate champion, and the story is that there needs to be somebody that needs to step up and become the next ace of Dragon Gate before Cima can really kind of step down. And that hasn't really come along all the way yet. I'm not going to say any spoilers for any future Dragon Gate title changes, but there's a chance they may have found him. But right now, this match in particular, I enjoyed it. It was not everything that I like from Dragon Gate, but I thought it was pretty good.
There was one part that was really funny. Some of the matches ended up going out of the ring previously. This one is like everyone's just like, "Oh, you're out of the ring. I'm gonna go out there too. Oh, you're out of the ring. I'm gonna go out there too."
Let me join you.
Dive the pleasure.
And then at one point, it was kind of the exact opposite, where everybody ran into the ring for a single suplex.
Yes.
And kind of all crammed together. I'm sure there were
including members that weren't in the match at all.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, that definitely plays into the whole faction thing. And the one thing that did disappoint me about that spot a little bit was that, this big devastating move, and then everybody kind of just got back up and kept going.
Well, everybody had to clear out.
Yeah.
Another
Dragon
interesting.
Gate operates at hyperspeed.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was definitely
in fast forward. Yeah.
Yes, that was something that kind of took away from the show a little bit for me, because all the moves they do are, they're just incredible, but in a way they're also, the transitions between all of them are kind of unpolished, because it seems so procedural. Go from this move to this move to this move to this move to this move, and it all looks beautiful, but if you look a little bit closer, it's almost a little bit too step by step and not as natural as
day by day.
That's very much part of the Lucha Libre style.
Okay.
And also with the Japanese influence, with the fighting spirit and the getting right back up after something really devastating. That happens a lot in Dragon Gate, and if you're a Dragon Gate fan, you accept it and you let it slide. But to the uninitiated, totally. Yeah. I definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah, and also another cool thing is that in this match, we also revisit a friend that we talked about before when we talked about, I think, our WrestleCon episode we mentioned it, and believe in our, and a couple other ones, T-Hawk, aka Tomahawk TT, aka Mr. PP, and we had mentioned the Mr. PP chant that happened at WrestleCon, and I was actually able to research the actual machinations of what happened there. So he is Tomahawk TT. He at some point took over the name of Naoki Tanizaki from the one we know as Mr. Kyugu Naoki Tanizaki. They had fought for that name, and Tomahawk won, staying Naoki Tanizaki, and he was able to name the original Naoki Tanizaki anything he wanted, so he named him Mr. QQ Tanizaki Tanizaka Dolphin. And then
this is way too much over being named after a Street Fighter character. I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. QQ Tanizaka Dolphin. And then the tables got turned. Tomahawk TT lost another match. Mr. QQ now was able to name him, and he was named, let me get this, Mr. PP Tomakomai Penguin. And thus Mr.
I wonder
P
what their
became.
names sometimes.
Yes.
And they were all in a movie with Kevin Bacon.
Yes, exactly.
Moving on to the
Bacon.
next match. The Twin Gate Tag Team Championship match. We saw Monster Express taking on Mad Blankey. This match has 4 of Dragon Gate's top guys. The Monster Express consisting of the awesome Shingo Takagi and his awesome ring jacket.
Yes.
Every American indie wrestling fan's favorite Dragon Gate wrestler, Akira Tozawa. And Mad Blankey's faction of Naruki Doi, who TNA and Ring of Honor fans may remember, taking on who arguably could be the top heel in Dragon Gate, Yamato. This match was for the Tag Team Championship. JV, what did you think of this one? You probably got that Yamato and Naruki Doi were definitely heels because Yamato is a heel.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot in Japan where guys are just total assholes. But Yamato is one of them.
See, the thing is, I almost... Oh, yeah, okay, so I'm getting the names mixed up, but yes, Yamato was definitely... I just looked him up on Google Images, and yes, he definitely was playing the total hero. That was made very, very clear throughout the match. I think this was definitely... I think the build-up little video sequence to the match definitely played up the importance of this match and how big these guys were as a part of the Dragon Gate promotion. You definitely got that impression from just that introduction, and I think the way the match played out, I think it definitely delivered. It was a little bit of a slower match compared to some of the other high flying matches from earlier. Not that much slower, but just slightly slower. But I think it was a good change of pace because now you've got a bunch of heavy hitters going up against each other.
JV and Petey, I want to ask you this one. These had 4 guys that, if you're at least a little bit familiar with indie wrestling at all, 4 guys that you might recognize from Dragon Gate, Akira Tozawa especially. Petey, I know you, but JV, were you familiar with any of the guys beforehand in this match at all?
I don't think so.
Like Shingo for a while was in Ring of Honor.
I think I had seen Shingo before, but...
And Akira Tozawa was in PWG for a while, and he was actually working in the promotions based out of Texas for a little while. So he really developed a fan following in the States, and as of right now, it's looking like he's the general consensus as the heir apparent to Cima when the time comes.
Yeah, he's a fantastic guy.
He'll be one to keep. I think, honestly, in my opinion, when it comes to Dragon Gate, he might be the guy.
Yeah, he's just a fantastic guy, and like I said before, he does a lot of really cool little things right, and like just the way he sets up his running. Like I did my whole thing about like just that little hop that he does right before runs is just that little thing that I think is really cool, and he just does a lot of things really crisply and does things a lot of really well that I think will translate to bigger things, and yeah, he's definitely the guy. Ash, did you have any impressions on this match?
Oh, not so much. I mean, it felt more intense. I still felt like there was some kind of acting going on here and there, like, you know, the play up or whatever you want to call it. Otherwise, it was just, I'm trying to remember most. I didn't take a lot of notes on that one.
Yeah.
So I was like, it was impressive, just nothing worth mentioning, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, it was the first time I realized, like, hey, I was right. That guy is a wrestler.
Yes. Yes, Akira Tozawa is in fact a wrestler.
Because he was in the opening with his yellow monster shirt.
And
or
he
orange.
he does commentary occasionally as well.
Yes.
Something else he adopted from the indies in the U.S., where wrestlers will occasionally do commentary.
Yeah, you know, despite his very accommodating and welcoming smile that you could see in the beginning, he is in fact a very mean, tough wrestler.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, now we get to the main event. No, not the haiku review, because you're not listening to Record Breakers. You're listening to Fanny Pack. The main event of the evening, the Open the Dream Gate title match, and like I said before,
Featuring
a couple
my
of times,
two favorite wrestlers in the Dragon Gate promotion.
Yes.
So I was pretty hyped for this.
Yes.
Masato Yoshino, the fastest wrestler on the planet, one half of the Speed Muscle tag team that totally came out of nowhere and was crazy awesome in TNA for just a little short amount of time. Masato Yoshino is the Speed, Naruki Doi being the Muscle, the current Open the Dream Gate champion, taking on my absolute favorite wrestler in Dragon Gate history, BB Hulk. PD, this match had me so hyped.
Yeah. This match had a lot of hype on it, and like I said previously about the Open to Brave Gate, goes especially so for the Open to Dream Gate. It's a unique title. It's a very cool title. A couple of cool things, just the fact that contenders get a key to literally open the Dream Gate upon winning said title. The title spoiler, the title didn't change hands, so you guys didn't get to see it, but the contender gets a key, and if he wins, he gets to open the gate, put his name inside said gate, and close it and become the champion. Of course, what did happen was the champion won and retrieved said contender's key and put it on his belt as a trophy. So it's like one of those really cool, unique things that puts a lot of pomp and circumstance and prestige into the title, and I think Dragon Gate really does it well. I guess I'll start with Ash. Ash, did you get a feeling of that in this match?
Yeah, like it felt like it was sort of like a grudge match, kind of. It's like, yeah, look at all those keys. Yeah, you can get the other one.
In some ways it was, because BB Hulk is the leader of Mad Blankey.
Yes. Yes.
That would be why he looks like he dresses like the rest of them.
Yeah, he is the leader of Mad Blankey.
Also, like, I liked his previous looks. This one with the black hair, I was just like, man, you do not look healthy.
That was his heel turn.
Yes.
I want him with the other hair.
Yes.
The other hair looks way better.
You're having an opposite feeling like with Kaz and Labraciel. Yeah.
He needs to go tan like the other guy.
Hey, now you sound like the powers that be up north. You gotta get some color in you. You're too pale.
I'm already pale. I'm gonna sunburn by the time I get outside.
It'll be fun. So Jerry, what impressions did you get of this main event title match?
Okay, again, call back to previous episodes, but all those complaints I had before about production values and which are very, very important for people that are new to the promotion. I think it holds true in the opposite sense. The video package before this match.
I've said this on previous episodes before. I love Dragon Gate's production on the pay-per-view level. They are my absolute favorite promotion in the world for this.
And it's funny because you get the sense of the story of the match without even speaking the language, and that's the beauty of the production. Really.
And you know, DJM was hyped for these guys because these are his favorite wrestlers. I was hyped because that video package got me hyped, and you know, they put the little Skyrim heavy metal music behind it. And,
agreed.
And that was cool too. But you know, it kind of told the story of, you know, how, you know, the last couple matches between these guys ended, and you know, where this whole feud started, and and without knowing the language, you could kind of see how this is all playing out, how these guys started hating each other, and you know, how, you know, this is a big match now, and so again, you know, like all the other title matches, this match seemed important, but very, very, very important compared to the rest of those, as it should. And
it is in fact the main title, and you got the feeling, even especially with the pomp and circumstances around the title, that translated well to somebody who was uninitiated. Like basically,
I will say that this is the only match. And really, only Japan does this, where the national anthem is played before the main event.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed that. I thought,
That's something I've always enjoyed about Japan, that they do that.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of felt like, it'd be like us doing the Star Spangled Banner. Whatever.
Like before the World Series, you know, the Star Spangled Banner. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, I like it when WWE does this for their title matches. For their main title match, where they'll stop at the beginning, they'll introduce one wrestler, introduce the other, but you know, they have their ring entrances and stuff, but they take a second to pause before then to let the referee show off the title and let it all soak in. And you know, they kind of do that with all these matches where they have you know, they read from the little slip of paper and then have everybody take pictures before the match, and so that was a little bit more pomp than I was expecting. But in the case of the last match here, that's definitely something that I would expect to see, and definitely something that adds to the whole mystique.
So you dug the pomp. What'd you think of the circumstance?
I mean, you know, just like the rest of the show, I enjoyed the match. These guys, you know, definitely put forth a good match. If anything, I was kind of burned out from the rest of the show, but you know, I think, you know, it seems like it was a somewhat fitting end because the finish wasn't the cleanest finish, but
I almost felt like it took too long.
Well, it was kind of an epic match. Yeah, it took about 25 minutes long, but yeah, it was a pretty epic match.
Yeah, and you know, as a somewhat of a stickler for the rules, you know, the referee distraction got to me a little bit, because in this case, the referee was actually being choked out by.
It gets a little bit into the TNA territory. With the title matches, which is totally understandable.
I still thought it was part of the act. Things like the story of the grudge into like the wrestling track.
Like, you know, being they're not going to let the title match end on a disqualification. This matters too much.
Yeah, and I think had I heard the announcers. Or had I understood the announcers, they might have been saying something to that extent.
Could be.
And then that would have been easier for me to
JV. Just imagine any TNA title match.
Yeah,
That's pretty much what was going on.
Yeah.
Just imagine that.
Yeah. But yeah, and it was a prestigious title match that I think had all that you would expect from two of the top guys of Dragon Gate. You know, a little bit of the high flying, a little bit of the hard hitting, just fantastic athleticism, fantastic wrestling. I think a fantastic capper to the show.
Yeah. And all the complaints that I had, you know, about some of the stuff earlier in the show where, you know, the transitions are a little bit unpolished between all the different moves. I think all that kind of slowly gets cleaned up as you get further and further along in the show. And in this match, everything was like, you could tell these guys have been around for a while and definitely know exactly what they're doing out there. And
these guys have definitely been around for a while. Definitely BB Hulk has been around for a while, because that's a name I've known for a while. I
love him so much.
Yeah.
I love him. He's amazing.
Yeah, so, and that was the main event.
I nearly actually got to see him live once at an ROH show in Chicago.
Nearly?
Yeah.
Nearly.
I'm so grateful I got to see Akira and Shingo live. Like, that was just a fantastic... I've talked about it before, but that was just a fantastic experience, just to see them in person, not but like a few feet away from me, beating the ever-loving shit out of each other.
Dude, seeing the Dragon Gate guys live it totally lives up to the hype. Just seeing what they do live, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, it makes me want to slap together a trip to New Orleans last minute if I didn't know any better.
You're already spending enough money as it is.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
I know. I got to be responsible.
I guess I have to ask: Are the Dragon Gate USA shows a little bit more like? I guess I haven't seen any of those. Are the crowds a little bit more into it than it seems like the
Japanese
crowds were?
The crowds
that's
are
normal with
little...
Japanese crowds in general. That's just how Japanese crowds are. They sit and they watch, and they only really get into it for the really exciting moments.
Well, there was a lot of like trying to bring up the crowd a couple matches back.
Yeah, that's just the Japanese wrestling crowd.
Yeah, and there's a lot of respectful clapping.
The U.S. With the U.S., it's all
and making up chants.
I kind of liked not freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although with guys that come over, they really enjoy that. They really enjoy that crowd reaction.
Oh yeah, Kiro Tozawa definitely dug it. Yeah, when we were
it makes
going
him
crazy.
feel like they're being entertaining. That's how
it's
they.
Something
face
new.
everything.
It's like they have it's a new experience, and it's really cool. Like, okay, there's a different energy here than say back home. Not that they don't appreciate their fans home, but they enjoy the different energy that they receive in the U.S. In a different way, and it's fresh for them. And it's really cool. And they
also, one other thing about the Dragon Gate USA shows is that you'll see not as many of the Dragon Gate Prime talents.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see like some of the main eventers, but Gabe Sapolsky has implemented a lot of the popular guys from the US indie scene as well. Some who have gone over to Japan, some who have go to both, like Ricochet, and we're spoilers, keep it spoiler free with Ricochet. But there is definitely a crossover between the two. There are, it's like you said, JV, there are two arms of the same promotion.
Mm-hmm.
But just to wrap it up, guys, overall, Dragon Gate Final Gate, what did you guys think?
I guess
JV?
This is the best show you guys have had me watch. And
I told you we'd make it up to you.
Yeah, it made up for it. It definitely made up for it. So I'm definitely happy that I got a chance to watch this. When you guys talk about indie wrestling, some of the other shows that I was on kind of got to explore, a little bit of how a little bit of the criticisms that often get leveled towards it, and a show like this kind of highlights a lot of the amazing things that you can see in indie wrestling.
And PD, this is exactly why we're doing the Awesome series.
Yes. Yes, just to spread the good, because I think as much as we're gonna do the Awesome series, it's gonna be good to explore the best. Because as much as I've enjoyed basically putting a referendum on a lot of different organizations and showing the full spectrum, I think a good dip into the Awesome pool will do us some good. I think nothing but good could come from that.
Ash, I wanted you to be on this show for Dragon Gate because you were a little bit more savvy on Japan. What did you think of this, knowing your understanding of Japan and Japanese culture and all of that? And what did you think of Dragon Gate in general, of what you saw?
Overall, I enjoyed it. Like, I like a little bit more. I don't want to say violence. I like a little bit more action when I kind of watch wrestling because like I don't like watching all of the.
So we need to show her Big Japan. We need to show her Big Japan.
No, not Big Japan. Big Japan might be too much.
I mean, this was sort of in my wheelhouse though because I watch a lot of like J-dramas and
I'm thinking
a whole bunch of stuff. So it was sort of in my wheelhouse of weirdness.
I want to see what Wrestle 1 does, Petey.
Okay.
If we do a Wrestle 1 show, we might bring Ash on.
Yes,
for that one.
that'd be.
Is it gonna break me? Am I gonna go?
No, I'm just gauging. I'm just gauging what you're saying, and I'm thinking I've got the right one for you, and I think it's Wrestle 1.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, as you were
I'm
saying,
not real big on like the words. Like I just know half Nelson, and that's about it.
That's fine.
that's all you
But like
want.
a lot of it's just my enjoyment. It's like, oh yeah, that was really good. Oh yeah, that leg grab was really cool. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always and that's okay because I think one of the biggest parts of this show that I've always wanted is I wanted this whole spectrum, and I wanted it in front of people that weren't too smart for themselves. They weren't too deep into the, that didn't think they know things. I wanted people that were fresh and were, casual fans, if you want to call it, but that were unassuming and were just in it to experience something new. And I wanted a new perspective on things. And I thought
the reason we're doing the Awesome series is, while Petey's idea of bringing people in easy is a great mindset for a Fanny Pack, DJM is ready to blow people's minds.
Yes.
And that's why with the Awesome series, I'm bringing the best wrestling shows I can find.
Yes, and we're gonna. You all can look forward to that, the Awesome series. But of course, that brings us to the end of this fine episode of the Fanny Pack Wrestling Podcast. If you want to follow these beautiful people, you can follow JVeezy at JVeezy, JVeezy on the Twitter. And all over, I imagine, other places as well. You can also find this lovely thing at Snowschu, Snow SCHU.
No.
Artshoe.
Artshoe.
God damn it, Petey.
You know what? If you can convince that dickwad to give me a snowshoe,
yes,
that'd be great.
Yeah, screw that guy. She's Artshoe.
Whatever. You can find me as Snowschu on Twitter.
You can Google her.
At Artshoe.
Artshoe. I'll put things on. I'll put proper captions when I actually edit this video. But for those listening, it's Art SCHU. Artshoe. DJ, what is going on at the Delta Juliet Mike headquarters at the media complex?
Well, I'm not going to spend too much time plugging everything that I'm doing, but a new episode of Downtime just came up, and I will be at Shudocon in East Lansing doing a little panel of some sort. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Go visit him.
Yes.
Go ahead and do that.
At DeltaJulietMike.com. Of course, you can follow him at Just Call Me DJM on the Twitters. I'm at Petey Ray.
Petey.
Yes.
I was just going to say, you don't have to plug everything that I do. I just said that.
All right, I'm Petey Ray. Petey is in Willis, Ray is in Jimmy, all in one word. You can follow the show at Fanny Pack WP. The show, all the episodes at fannypackwrestling.com, rebellion.net for all the other shows, including Halijuku and Record Breakers. Follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, all over the place. Until next time, hasta los huevos. Hit that outro music, DJ.
I don't have a catchphrase. I still don't have a catchphrase.